What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I want to give you some updates on some Social Security news. I know I've been getting a lot of questions about this, so again, I want to address this. Also, we are getting reports that there is a possibility of a bipartisan Social Security bill that will be coming very soon. I want to address why this is because there is a problem that we are currently facing and we need a solution to it. So I will address that towards the end of this video. First, let's get to the good news for some Social Security recipients. Millions of people that are collecting Social Security are going to get their 8.7% cost of living adjustment in 2022, which means it's going to come at the end of this month, actually on December 30th. Here's what we know. Roughly 8 million Americans who will receive their Social Security Supplemental Income are actually going to receive their payment 2 days early on December 30th, not on January 1st. The reason for this is because for Social Security Supplemental Income, it is always issued on the first of the month, unless the first of the month falls on a holiday or a weekend. Being that the first of the month falls on a Sunday, the payment would actually come on Friday, not on Monday, which means it's going to come in 2022 on December 30th. So keep that in mind. You will get your 8.7% cost of living adjustment in the matter of 23 days. Now, for the other millions of Americans, roughly 66 million Americans are waiting on their Social Security checks. Now, the good news is there should not be a delay in these checks. The checks should come out on the exact same day they normally do. So, and if you're not sure exactly when that is, I'll break that down. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th of the month, it doesn't matter which month, okay? The 1st and the 10th, you will get your payment on the second Wednesday, which in this case is Wednesday, January 11th. If your birthday falls on the 11th through the 20th, you will get your payment on Wednesday, January 18th, which is the third Wednesday. And for birthdays that fall between the 21st and 31st, you will get your payment on the fourth Wednesday, which is actually January 25th. All right? So that is good news that the payments are not going to be delayed. That was one of the worries that, what if the government shuts down? Well, if the government shuts down, and just to give you an idea, if a government shuts down, the payments are still supposed to go out. Okay? There won't be a delay there. The delay only happens if you haven't got approval, if you are supposed to submit some paperwork or other documentation. That's where there's delays. So for those out there that are saying, you know what, the government shuts down, you're not going to see your payment. No, you will still see your payment. It will come out on time. The only difference is if you are trying to go through the approval process, that's where we see delays. All right? So don't let people scare you because your payment is still coming. Now, before I get into some of the bad news and the good news of possibly seeing a bipartisan Social Security bill, I first want to address one thing. What we learned today is that the Democratic Senator, Raphael Warnock, he won in Georgia. This means that Democrats now hold a 51 to 49 majority in the Senate. And I know people are going to ask, so that means we're going to get something for Social Security? Well, probably not. Here's the reason why. Democrats now have a 1 or 2 seat majority in the Senate. This is good news because now Democrats don't have to fight and negotiate with Senator Joe Manchin. However, they may still have to fight with the senator out of Arizona, Kyrsten Sinema. So that's a little bit of a problem there. However, now they only have to negotiate with one of the two, get them on board, and then kind of screw the other. Who cares? Because again, all you need is 50 votes if you're going to do something under a budget reconciliation, which is still something that they could consider. However, the issue is it will not pass the House of Representatives because that is going to be run by the majority of Republicans. So that's kind of what we know there. The big issue with all this stuff coming out now is, where do we go? what do we see? And again, this is where having one extra seat in the Senate doesn't really do anything for legislation as far as a bill for Social Security. But what it does do is it helps. I believe they can appoint people on committees and whatever. So there are benefits behind this. But again, it's probably not something that you and I are going to see a lot of. So I will address more news on that as soon as we get it. But let's get into some of the other news regarding Social Security. And this is actually regarding Social Security disability. And honestly, some of this is not good. But here's what we know. According to the Washington Post, they're reporting that the Disability Determination Division in Austin, Texas is at its breaking point and has been for multiple months. They're reporting that more than 130,000 claims have been waiting review by state employees to determine who will get disability. So if you have been waiting for approval or denial of your disability claim, well, guess what? This could be part of the reason why. But they are saying that the backlog as of right now, or the backlog as of August, could have taken more than 1 year to clear. And the reason is because 40% of the examiners have quit since January. But to make matters worse, back in September, 75,000 new claims suddenly came in to their already backlogged queue. So they're more than a year behind. They're probably a year and a half to 2 years behind. That's a problem. When somebody claims disability, okay, when they're waiting on a Social Security disability check, guess what? Or just get approval. Guess what? They're going to go through all these hoops, all the processes. It could take months, or in this case, possibly 2 years just to get the acceptance. Most people can't wait that long. Now, obviously, this is a major problem, and now what we're seeing is top House and Senate Democrats are coming out calling on Congress to make a drastic move. They need to increase and boost funding for the Social Security Administration so they can improve their technology. Now, let's touch on that for just a second. They are calling for additional funding to boost the technology for the Social Security Administration. Here's the problem. And again, there is some bipartisan support here, so this is some good news, but here is one of the problems. Democrats are asking for a larger amount than what Republicans are willing to even consider. That's the problem. Because how do we fund that? And if we were to give Social Security additional funding, would it be in the best interest of Social Security to put that money towards improving their technology? Or should they do something else to hopefully make it so they are not going to become insolvent in the next 12 years? That's part of the discussions. But here's what we know. There is bipartisan support for the Social Security Administration to improve their technology. Let me read you a statement from the Republican Representative Kevin Brady. He's, I believe, the top Republican for the House Ways and Means Committee. But he had this to say, and I quote, "Lawmakers in both parties are getting an earful at home about the backlog and poor customer service at the Social Security Administration, and are demanding answers on this and the disarray in this workforce. The workforce issues seem to be getting worse, which is terrible news for seniors and the disabled. At the end of the day, the outdated disability process continues to struggle and needs serious bipartisan reforms." So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. We are waiting for additional funding for Social Security, but in order to get additional funding, Democrats either need to do something now in a lame duck session, which according to reports they will not do because, again, they got less than 2 weeks, or they wait until the House of Representatives is controlled by Republicans and they try to pass some bipartisan reforms then. That is the most likely option. So here's what I can tell you. Could we see a bipartisan bill coming very soon? The answer is yes. We could see this. And we will likely see this because this is a need and has been a need for multiple years. But here's the other issue. If it's a bipartisan bill, it will not be as large as Democrats are wanting. Democrats are going to come out and propose something very large, a bigger bill. Republicans are going to cut it down. That's what's going to happen. They will meet somewhere less than in the middle. I don't think they will meet in the middle. They will meet somewhere less than in the middle. Okay, so with that said, I will keep you updated on everything that's going on. There is a lot of information that is still going around. I'm going to do my research. I will process it, and I will bring it back to you so that you know exactly what's happening at this time. So again, that's what we know. Thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.